We welcome on stage these two gentlemen. So we've got today with us Active Ants and GreyOrange. So Tobias Wurm, who is General Manager for Active Ants in Germany. And we've got Jan Heijblum, which is Sales Manager at GreyOrange. So thank you. I think the best is to start introducing yourself, who you are, what you do in the company, and then we can start sharing the knowledge and insights on this technology.
Thanks a lot for your intro, and thanks for having us. I'm enjoying the location. Kind of the sun came out after the rain this morning. So just a quick intro. My name is Tobias Wurm. As you can hear from my accent, I'm German. So close by. I have been working in the Netherlands for 15 years. Somehow it was not in growing flowers. It was always in logistics. And I'm currently working for a company I joined 1st of April, which is called Active Ants, a company which is based in the Netherlands and which is doing e-commerce fulfillment. And I'm one of the customers of GreyOrange. And I quickly pass the microphone to Jan to give a short intro of himself. And then afterwards, I give a kickoff of Active Ants, actually.
Okay. Hi, I'm Jan Heijblum. I'm as Dutch as you can have it. You can also see by the way we're dressed who is the sales guy and who is really having a decent job. Yeah, I'm sales manager for GreyOrange, and I'm really happy to be here with Tobias. Active Ants is a fantastic company, and they're doing really well. They're growing like crazy, and they take us along with them on their journey of growth. So, Tobias, please kick it off.
I will, thanks. Can we have the next slide, please? Perfect. So just a quick intro on Active Ants.
Thank you.
So Dutch fulfillment provider, we are addressing the market of small web shops or medium-sized web shops. We have opened up 4 sites in the Netherlands and Belgium, and the 4th one is just kind of started in Germany. Altogether, we have 500 employees, and the total surface we have under our control are 50,000 square meters. So what do? We are a logistic provider for e-commerce fulfillment. So basically, we specialized ourselves on providing logistics only for e-commerce merchants. And I believe one of the things we have kind of smartly tackled is to be able to onboard also companies, small companies. So basically, the threshold for entry is very low. And we believe that customers who partner with us have a platform from where they can easily grow. So there's all the small issues that you can have if you do your logistics yourself. You are directly on a platform which is professional, which is linked up to a carrier network, local heroes, and kind of allows you to grow not just in your home country, but internationally. So what do we do differently from other vendors? First of all, basically we own our, we have our own IT network, which we built up ourselves. And the platform is designed from scratch to cater for e-commerce. So all the functionalities that you need, cloud-based, real-time access also for our customers. And then basically, there are lots of providers who got the IT side right, but then in the end, it's also about getting the operations right. And so we are always running the operations ourselves. It's not subcontracted to someone who's providing the hands. And because we need so many hands in e-commerce, of course, we are also concerned on how can you smartly automate this. And that's basically where we have been partnering with quite a lot of different vendors. Some of the other vendors are also here at the exhibition. but one of our new additions since 2019 is basically the GreyOrange robots, which we are using in a very specific way and which is part of the topic which we will address today. So basically, own system, focus on automation, and we are leveraging the automation across multiple customers, which is, I believe, a very interesting use case if you can do so. And then, who am I? Basically, 47 years old, have been working in logistics in the last 20 years, 15 of that basically in the Benelux, 3 years in the US. And in the past, I've been mostly focused on tech customers, and now I'm going kind of for the full range of everything which fits into a box and can be delivered in a good lead time to the end customer. Jan, over to you.
All right. Is that the clicker? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is me together with a guy that's even older than I am. I am pretty old, actually. I'm older than you guys together. But the guy at the left side, just in case you get confused, that's my dad. He's 93. And he was the guy starting with e-commerce last year, April, when COVID hit the Netherlands real bad. All stores were closed. So he called me in April and he said, "Hey, Jan, I can't buy clothes anymore." So I'm going, "Dad, have you ever heard of e-commerce?" As a proof of point that really, literally everybody is now buying stuff at home. You, me, my dad, everyone. And not only in Holland or in Germany, but also in Romania or Bulgaria, anywhere. It's just huge, and I think to some extent it won't change. This is a little bit the driver behind many of the customer logos that we have. We're breaking through in the US. GreyOrange is a US company. So we're now seeing the success of having moved to the US a couple of years ago. We see that happening literally these days. If you wonder, oops, the graphics doesn't really do what I wanted to do. If you would wonder how we help our customers, there's a whole bunch of robots out there, right? There's 200, 300, 400 vendors. God knows how many, really. The number is changing all the time. And we have realized that the variety in robots would be increasing over time. And we've from day one essentially focused on software. The point-to-point solution that one specific robot solution could be, we glue it together in an end-to-end setting, a complete outbound flow, where in potentially different types of robots work together, and we synchronize the whole stuff with our software. So that's what we do. We used to be a robot vendor, but right now we regard us really as a software vendor, which ties in with the active ends approach. So that's us. Tobias, back to you.
Thanks. So just to set the scene a little bit, in my old life, basically, I was used to having a warehouse where the whole warehouse was filled with conveyor belts, fixed installation, steered by SPS programmable entities. Basically, you went to a drawing board, you said, like, this are the requirements, you set up the warehouse, and then you have your conveyor belt, which is going through the whole warehouse. You start putting in the goods, and you realize that from day one, the forecast doesn't really match the requirements. The goods have a different shape. Demand has been shifting. You have kind of different products to handle. And there is kind of in all automation, or there used to be in all automation, always a challenge of getting kind of your requirements down. And then basically, once you have decided, you were stuck with it. And you lost some of kind of the agility just because basically your facility was packed with something which made sense at the moment that you decided, but doesn't necessarily kind of evolve in the way that you would have wished it to once the requirements changed. And in come now quite a lot of different technologies which are different, which allow you to automate it for a more general case, where you're not locked in the same way, and where you do have kind of some mobility and adjustability in the setup. So basically, that's to set the stage. And so for us, from our perspective, basically, we know kind of our business will grow over time. But for example, at the start, I might not be willing kind of to already invest fully already in all the edge cases that I might need. So basically, there is an element where it's good to have flexibility and to be able to also adjust without high costs at a later point of time. Then there is an element where you say, I might not be willing to spend all the money up front just to be able to build a capacity that I might be needing in 3 years. So it's good if you also have the possibility to flex the capital spending to the needs of your business as it evolves. Logistics, or most of you who are in logistics know it's not a huge margin business. Money does play a role. Capital expenditure does play a role. So you need to be able to sync this. And nowadays, the systems are such that you do have the possibility to do so. And from that perspective, basically, you might also be able to adjust the setup as your needs evolve over time. And in the end, even some of the changes can be done software-based. It's not necessarily a hardware-based change, which typically takes longer lead times and more maintenance or less. So basically, there are quite a lot of factors coming in. And then the other part, which I believe everybody of us is confronted with, the last 20 years have been a period where there was an inflow of cheap available labor on the world. Kind of the communism ended, and up there was a huge markets which kind of just were readily available. And suddenly we are coming into periods where we realize this might not be the story of the future anymore. Some of the jobs you might not be able to find labor easily, or people are just not willing to do some of the jobs anymore because they're not always healthy. So basically, I believe this comes down to a story we all know. No, it's important kind of to be able to support your employees and overall to increase productivity where you can easily do so. To be able to also offer attractive jobs for the ones that you still need. You need to be able kind of to save labor somewhere else to make the overall site more productive. And so basically for us, these are elements which we all consider in the technologies we are looking for, and where we can make a check mark in the setup that we chose with GreyOrange. Then the other element, which do you want to take this one?
Go for it. I don't drive Mercedes anymore.
So basically there is kind of this challenge, and as a German, I always hope that one day our car suppliers also get it and don't miss the boat. But nowadays maybe the big differentiating elements at a car are not the same anymore as they used to be. So it all comes to basically be able to get the software right. Yeah? And there are some companies from the German car companies where we hope that they get it. We're not yet sure. But the differentiating factors will be that kind of you can go in the car, that your phone connects automatically, that it's synced with your agenda, yeah? That you don't need to type in or communicate with the car to get the address into the navigation system, and they don't understand you because you're not pronouncing it like the technician foresaw it. So basically, software is a huge differentiating factor. And basically, we all expect also in our warehouses, yeah, that at a certain given moment, we can just run updates and improve performance, algorithms, features. Yeah? So basically, this is not, we cannot work with release cycles anymore where you say like, yeah, we might be able to have this feature in 5 years. It's on the roadmap. Nowadays, kind of speed is important. Yeah. And yeah, you need to be able to adjust what you do. Yeah. So as Andreessen Horowitz puts it, software is eating the world. Yeah. And everybody who's working in technology nowadays basically needs to be strong on software. Yeah. So it's about programmable assets, and that's basically one of the underlying elements which we have integrated with the GreyOrange platform. So what are we doing with GreyOrange in the context of active ants? Yeah. So active ants basically has several automation elements, typical e-commerce stuff, no carton erector, carton closer, pick ports, and yeah, in the end, everybody knows a shipment which is kind of picked, yeah, comes with different service levels and carriers, so it also needs to be sorted. And so what we are using GreyOrange for basically is it's providing us with an automated robot grid, and this grid is linking the different elements of our automation. So basically, it's programmable. So the routing within the grid and the different stations can be programmed and adjusted. We can, within minutes, add additional robots if we see the capacity is not sufficient. So you can basically scale the setup. You can take robots out because you need to be doing a maintenance, but doesn't stop the overall business from working. And then you basically can scale up, scale down, and you can adjust. Now, if you would like to have an additional machine in there, we could just place it and adjust the program, and basically then we would have a new feature within the shortest period of time. And basically, for us, it doesn't really matter how the robots are moving. And Jan will be able to tell you later what's happening like under the hood. But basically, the routing and how to optimize the navigation within the grid is with a machine learning algorithm, which is optimizing the driveways and which is ensuring a smooth processing. So that's basically the project which we are talking about. I believe also from our perspective, together with GreyOrange, the use that we are doing is not the typical use, but it's an interesting one, and we really like the flexibility about this. It gives us the possibility to, for example, when we do a project, we also use an auto store. We use different elements of automation. And basically, we know that over time, we will add kind of additional capacity, and we can just extend the grid, put additional machines over there, and it doesn't limit us. No, it's not like, okay, we need to close for a few days, get in kind of lots of laborers to be removing huge conveyor belts, then adjust, plan the whole project like 3 months in advance, get the stuff kind of manufactured, this is all kind of easy and flexible and working well also at scale for us. Yeah. So basically, this is a very nice setup. And if you look here, basically here you have an overview where you see the different elements. And I can just quickly kind of point you to the order flow. So over here at the left-hand side, these would be carton erectors erecting the cartons. Then the box would be handed over here to a GreyOrange roboter. Basically, it's only the bottom of the carton which we transport. It's then routed to one of these picking stations. In this case, basically, they are a little bit hidden behind. The product will be provided via the auto store to the picker, where the picker would be picking the respective items confirm. And once the order is complete, the robot would be routing the order. And we have two options for the routing, basically. Either it goes to one of these automated closing machines, or for items where you need additional packaging material. Basically, it would go onto a manual station, then you can still do value-added services over here. Yeah. For the automated case, basically the item would be going here, there would be a weight check, a camera is taking a photograph, just for customer service reasons. No, then we have the possibility to check on the order afterwards and see whether it was complete. And then it would be going into an automated closing machine where you would also print kind of the transport label on the lid. And we have the possibility to customize the cover with a customer logo. And once it's closed, basically, the item would be picked up by a GreyOrange robot again. And then basically here you have different chutes for different carriers. And the robot knows kind of this is the respective service level. So it goes with the GLS because they are kind of the lanyard sponsor, yeah, and then would be routed to the respective chute, yeah. And basically, we use one chute for kind of exception handling. So in there, kind of, all the exceptions would be collected. Yeah. So this is basically the project which we done with GreyOrange together. It's been the first site. It's been like the 20,000 square meters which we have in Roosendaal. And this is for us, it's basically our growth model, which we are replicating now in different markets. So we already did a second project in Willebroek in Antwerp. And the next project we are currently working on is in Dorsten in Germany, which I'm responsible for. We are a little bit delayed, but not due to GreyOrange. It's delayed because some materials from other vendors have not been delivered. They presented me kind of the whole list of reasons. No, it was the Evergrande or Evergiven? Yeah, it was a factory burned down and chip shortage. So basically, yeah. What shall you say? No, if they have all the reasons which you know from the newspapers. So basically now we started the site the hard way, doing pick-pack still kind of with an unautomated setup, and we are currently working together with getting the grid live in Dorsten. And I think beginning of end of November we'll be ready to have the robots running. Yeah.
All right.
Let me quickly explain what it is that we do at Active Ants, and what they do is they essentially they figured this out last year, and now they're sort of copy pasting it into second site, third site, fourth site, fifth site. They have a solution which works, and they just go for it. So their expansion is really smoothly because they have everything figured out already, and it's just a matter of copying it. So at Active Ants we do three things with our parcel robot. That is that thingy there in the left middle of the screen. that robot is a parcel robot. It moves either 1 or 2 boxes or totes or whatever from A to B. You could say it is a bit like the Dutch economy. In Holland, we don't manufacture anything. We just move stuff from A to B, right? This is the same, but the cleverness, or let's say the smartness, we call it smart zone transfer, is in the sorting. So while we move parcels from A to B, we also sort them. We therefore do away with the need for a conveyor and a sorter. We sort these parcels on their way from the packing station to the outbound carrier lane. So we figure we get, of course, from your WMS, we get the ultimate destination, with the order. And while we do the last step of this process, the sorting, we sort them according to carrier lane, so that you don't need a separate conveyor or sorter for that. That is actually the clever thing. It is not as easy to sort things as you think it is. It has to be fast also. It is altogether the solution that gives you guys the flexibility, I believe. This is a CapEx-friendly way. If you want to enlarge an MHE-oriented solution versus if you want to enlarge a robot-based solution, the flexibility is the huge difference. It takes us literally 60 seconds to add a robot into an existing site. If you want to add conveyor lanes to some sorting solution, it definitely does not 60 seconds and also not 60 minutes. So the advantage, I guess, our differentiator is in the flexibility, the scalability of the whole setup. Plus, if you have a certain size in mind in 5 years, you do not have to invest in the whole setup from day one. Why would you? You can grow with a robotics-based solution along the pace of your business growth. I think, Tobias, would you agree or would you not agree with that?
If you give me the mic, I'll just make a short. So basically, when we set up Willebroek, we had an issue with delivery being held up. So the Dutch pragmatic way is asking, can we use the robots from Roosendaal? So we just took the robots, 10 robots, which we didn't need in Roosendaal, took them to Willebroek, started the setup, and then we got our delivery of our robots that we ordered. Now they don't take the motorway back. We still need a truck for them. But basically, that's kind of how you can deal with it. And that shows kind of how flexible you can just use them and plug them in. And you can also kind of build up capacity.
I guess not much to add to that. That's your video.
Yeah, just show it.
So this is the robot. It's carrying either 2 or 1. This is one of your colleagues, Tobias. Carton erector. We bring the boxes from the erector to picking, to the AutoStore setup in the back there. This is picking. And that's where it gets packed.
It looks so easy, no?
It's so easy what you guys do. Wow.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. My very first question would be, the future is already there. Like, Tobias, for you maybe, where do you see room for optimization now that you've explained? And then we're going to get back through maybe the software, which is one of the words that we've seen a lot in the presentation, and trying to explain the agility and maybe trying to understand especially the machine learning and AI side. But where do you see additional optimization in such an environment? I know we can maybe talk about heavier cargos or boxes and so on, but what would be your insight on that?
so for me, there are 2-3 things which I don't like. Yeah, but basically these are mistakes in the setup that we made ourselves. Yeah, so for example, because we wanted to reduce the complexity at the setup, we are still stickering the boxes. Yeah, but we should be printing kind of the barcode on the box, so that we kind of reduce the plastic and eliminate that. Then I still see kind of people bringing away waste from the picking tables. Yeah, and basically this could be just like also going over the grid. Just like a container, you put it on the grid and then it's being sorted to a chute, and from there it goes in the bin. Kind of easy consolidation. You don't need to run around doing that. And one thing which I need in Germany basically is FBA, or kind of the Amazon-based fulfillment by FBM, fulfillment by merchant. Sometimes you need to use carriers which are coming where the label is contracted by Amazon. And I just need to have a kind of an automated label printer in the grid. And then have his guys program the grid so that for some of the orders, the routing is kind of going along that automated label applicator, scanning the box, getting the label on, and having it routed accordingly. So, and that shows you kind of, this is not a big topic, which can easily be integrated. And which is something which we didn't consider for the German market because we didn't need it for the Dutch market. But the solution is flexible. We can just easily adjust it.
And on do we have a question in the room maybe first? Yes, can you just introduce yourself?
Yeah,
we can.
My name's Frank, I work for IKEA.
Right. For? Just kidding.
I can explain. For either one of you, I think one of the biggest challenges if I come into this discussion is what I receive in my supply chain is more or less what you see in the store. So coffee mugs, glasses, fragile things. And I don't know in that automation process, are you ready for us? If we talk, my quality in the parcel flow is one of my biggest challenges. I don't know if that's a question in automation that you're ready to talk about. So, a drop test with 6 glasses in one box.
Give me a call tomorrow morning, please.
Okay.
So from a product standpoint, right, there is a limit to what such a robot can do. And it's roughly equivalent to the weight and the size that a human person can handle. Like I think in Holland we have CLAs, CAO, I don't know what the English word is, that do not allow you to weigh more than 35 kilograms. I don't know what it is in Germany. So you can't, as a person, pick up a box which is heavier than 35. And these robots are roughly around that weight. But if you have a huge, like you guys, IKEA, you guys sell, how many SKUs do you have? I don't know. A lot.
12,000. It's not huge.
Yeah, but they're small and
the
tiny.
sizes are massive. Yeah. Sizes up to maybe 2.5 meters.
Yeah. So this robot doesn't do a couch. Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't do a fridge.
Jan, can you just take the mic so that everyone can? Yeah, sorry, thanks.
Yeah. So this robot doesn't do a couch or a fridge or something heavy or really big, and there is limitations around that. I think that would need to be discussed for your business.
I'm more after the sofas. We can take care of that. It's more with those small boxes with fragile things inside. So from taking out of a box, putting it into a consumer box, and then protecting it for the journey to the customer.
So I'll just tell you how we handle it. No, for us, basically, the order with the fragile items would not go into the automated packing. It would go. It would be routed to the manual packing tables, and there you would kind of protect it additionally. I had trouble to see which country you have on your flag.
Belgium.
So Dille and Camille. It's a customer of ours. Yeah, they have kind of lots also porcelain, glasses, teapots. Yeah, and they are just going out in the manual process, get some additional cotton. That's manual adjustments. But then again, like for the rest, we can use an automated process. So it's some items are just, yeah, they are selling on the website, but they are not ideal for handling in the warehouse. Yeah, but for example, in the process on the GreyOrange robots on the conveyor, no issue. Yeah, so we don't have an issue with that.
Until the dispatch area, it's pretty much secure.
But
and then you've got the manual, which is an optimization we talked about earlier.
Ideally, you would not want to touch all the items.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we don't have a better solution than that.
Thank you. Another question? Yes, go ahead. Name and company, please. Yeah.
E-commerce robot. Interesting for me is what is the throughput in the sorting area? So how many you sort per hour? I mean by GreyOrange. So because we have one way is to out the store, one way from out the store to packing, then from packing to the dispatch. So we have 3 roads, probably the same flow because it's the same characters. Yeah? So what is the throughput of this flow per hour?
Shall I? Right. So to some extent it's flexible because if you enlarge the grid and if you add more robots, you get more capacity. But by and large, somewhere around 4,000 or 5,000 items we can sort per hour.
How many? So if you sort there 5,000 items per hour, how many robots do you use?
Yeah. That's a hard question. It depends, for instance, on whether you can.
I'm asking about this implementation
Yeah.
because we saw the size
Right.
of the grid and the size of the. This particular case.
Do you know how many you guys?
Yeah, currently working with 20 robots.
Okay.
20 robots?
20.
4, okay. But this is not proportional, right? Because you optimize it. Number of
20.
robots for how many products?
Yeah. It depends.
Because here in the product, they pick 2 things.
For how many boxes? Yeah. On your case, Tobias, the 20 robots goes for how many boxes?
Per hour.
Roughly like per hour, 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Going back to the flexibility, or should we say agility? So software seems to be, the very important part here, so that we get on this agility and flexibility. This is an end-to-end solution, as we've seen here with ActiveEnt. But how would you, at GreyOrange, adapt to potentially different requirements from different customers that want maybe to automate only one part, or like what the agility you propose?
Okay. So at ActiveEnt, we only do part of the outbound flow. We do post-pick outbound, right? At other customers, for instance, in the US, at H&M, for instance, we are almost at WMS. We do, apart from receiving, which is done by SAP, it's really tricky to replace SAP receiving. Don't do that. After receiving, from put away all the way to packing, we handle the entire flow, including storage, so including the part that is done by AutoStore in the case of ActiveEnt. So there's a huge variety in what we do for you, for our customers, depending on the setting, depending on the situation. And this is why we are software focused, right? We cannot predict our next customer. They could go all the way with us. They could go partially, like ActiveEnt is doing. That's why you need software to be flexible.
And the machine learning here and the solution you provide will help in adapting the flow of the robots within the grid. And how can you react, for example, to defect or even to manage returns? I think that could be also interesting if you've got a last-minute change when the order drop, like how machine learning helps and what type of flexibility you have here.
Yeah, so if you configure exception handling into your solution, it will actually do that exception handling. It's it's with every software. It's just software. So indeed, if there is something wrong with the package, if you can somehow detect it, we can deflect it to some sort. I think to some extent you guys do that. There's weight checks, there's volume checks, there's all kinds of stuff that you can imagine, and our software can react on that. Yeah. Do I answer your question?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Someone else? Yes, go ahead.
Daniel from
basically doing the automation and in parallel a manual approach with like normal cards.
Okay, so not a fully automated environment in Tralog, but both.
Especially for peak seasons and so on.
Right. I think at Active Ants, to some extent, we do that.
I didn't understand it fully. So, of course, basically the grid is fenced off.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of just for worker safety reasons. Yeah. So basically, you would not have kind of on the same walkways having humans and robots going together. Yeah. But what we do is basically for everything which is large items, which doesn't meet kind of the requirements of we can put it on the robot. We do have a parallel process which is manual, and you could also hand it over then to the automated process. For example, we do have some dangerous goods which we are not able to put in the auto store. Mm-hmm. Then we pick it manually, and we kind of insert it onto the grid, and then it does do the rest automatically.
Okay.
What would you do then if you have an unexpected peak? Like if you have the double amount of shipments required and you cannot deal with the current capacity?
You had some additional robots, or I think we kind of...
Yeah, but of course there is a certain moment, for example, if I have manual picking and I only have the capacity of the people I have there in the manual part, yeah. With the rest of my capacity, basically we kind of run forecasting that we cover the areas which we have, and then we play with the working hours.
But you can potentially add additional robots to support this peak, yeah. I think, too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We did that actually recently when you guys started up the Belgium side. I think you told us already. You took some robots out of the Dutch side, added them into Willebroek, and they got going. And if you have more than one side, that is a way to balance the capacity. I think also if one side gets more busy than the other side, you could do it like that. But typically we use simulation approaches to figure out what your peak day is going to be, and we calculate, we size the number of robots needed accordingly. All right.
Okay, I think time is running. I will have a very last question. Where do you see the industry going, given the fact that we see many robots and technology in this area? Like globally speaking, the industry in the next 5 years, 10 years, 2 years?
If I really would know, I would probably get rich.
The $1 million question.
Quickly.
Yeah.
But I think in general, this market, this robotics market, is about 10 years old, right? 10 years ago, there was nobody, perhaps Kiva, that was it. Now we have 200, 300 robotics vendors on the planet, and each solution is a little bit different. They're doing their own specialistic thing, which is great. But I think over time, you will, on the one hand, see consolidation, less vendors, the best survive. You will see sites, warehouses, DCs, where a combination of a variety of robots do the job. It's a bit like Active Ants, right? But you can go further than that. You can store your goods in a robot-oriented way. There's all kinds of things you can do. So I think over time, the focus will be on software, not on hardware. The robot itself will commoditize to some extent. The software will be the differentiator.
And the conclusion will be the introduction. Thank you very much. Thank you for the workshop.